Today I have two reeds. They're almost finished. I clipped them down to about 70, but they're still a bit heavy and they need to be in the final stages of finishing. However, one is made with my shape and single radius gouge. Another is made with a different shape and my double. They're two very different reeds. I'll play them for you so you can hear what they sound like. It's quite resistant. So it's kind of abrasive, it's harsh sounding. The tone isn't very good and it doesn't respond well. I'm going to try to scrape some tone into it. So we'll do that now. It's almost 70, still has quite a bit of material, the tip hasn't been finished. This is kind of like the third stage of finishing the reed, for me anyway. What we're going to do is we're going to scrape right down in this region here. And this is where you get the tone in the reed. This gouge is a little stronger. As we scrape it though, the reed's going to get lighter. At least it should. Kind of focusing the energy right on the beginning. And try to do each side similarly. This should have made the reed lighter and sound better. And this is why we do it, because we're trying to get those vibrations to the sides of the tip so that the center of the tip doesn't have so much strength. And it mitigates those fatiguing frequencies, which are harsh. I usually like to scrape a bit out of the back. It kind of balances. Tip and the back have a strange balance between them. Also, the length of the scrape in the back and the tip has a lot to do with the strength of the gouge. And I try to stop right behind the heart. Now it has gotten flat, which we knew it would. Yeah, so it did help the sound. I also made it quite light. I'm going to clip it, but it is a small clip. Until we get it a C, again, we're getting it up to a C. Still not quite there. That's close. Now it's better, but a little stuffy. So we're going to try to clear it up. Now once it's sounding good, what I like to do to finish the reed, and I don't know if I've shown this in the past, is we work the very corners of the tip, right in here. And I'm not scraping off the end of the corners, I'm just scraping the corners. Diagonally, you see that? This gives a very nice finished quality to the reed. When you do this, after you've gotten it to pitch, after you've gotten some tone out of it, we're just going to delicately do the corners here. I'm not scraping off the corners. That's a different purpose. Scraping off the corners tends to put some resistance into the reed. I haven't scraped too much out of the back. We could do more. I'll play it, see what we got. It plays pretty well. I'm just going to do a little bit more out of the back, and I think that'll be it. So we've taken this reed really in the third stage. This is not a really great piece of cane, but it does vibrate, so sometimes that's all you need. Something that vibrates. But the tone is nice. It's pleasant, and the reed responds well. Remember, I'm not scraping off the corners. At first, you want to avoid that. We're going to clip it, make sure it's right. That reed plays fine. You could finish it down at the hall. Here we have another one. This is a different reed. This is with a double, it looks like a nice piece of wood. It's not finished. We got it close. It's grown about a C. It's a wider shape. I used to use this shape quite a bit. The issue I had with this shape was that it struggled to remain stable. But we'll see what we can do with this. I'll play it for you. You hear how it twangs? There's a lot of twang to it. This is what you get when you play a reed like that and you have an open throat. If you want to adjust the tone of the reed, you have to manipulate the back of the tongue. And it's through the vowel sounds. So instead of saying O or oo, when you have a resistant or a hard reed, if you say E, A, A, or E usually works well. You're focusing the air in a different way that prevents the reed from accentuating these fatiguing frequencies. So give that a try, and I think it'll help you with, tone production in many ways. If I play the reed and I have an open throat, let's say, like the vowel sound is a oo or O. You hear how fatiguing that is, yeah? It's very annoying. It's a kind of a brutal sound. But if you change the vowel in your mouth, if you say E or A or Ah, E usually works well. It'll change the tone of the reed. So that the reed isn't like... You hear the difference? You're just changing the vowel sounds. And this is important when you play. I spent most of my career manipulating the vowel sounds that I produce in my mouth to change the tone of the reed. But in any case, let's try to scrape some tone into this so we don't have to work so hard. Now mind you, I didn't play reeds that hard, or this hard, but you still have to do things like that in order to create a sound that has a beautiful resonance to it. And you get more resonance when you focus the air from the instrument through the reed, and the kind of resonance you want. To me, there are 4 properties of the sound of the instrument. The first is tone, which to me is the fundamental, coming out of the tone hole. And then the other three are ring, resonance, and reed. And the different combinations, these represent the different frequencies. The ring is a very mid-range kind of a quality. Resonance is kind of a combination of fundamental pitch and a higher frequency. And then the reed is just, you hear the reed. It is a reed instrument, but I don't want to hear the reed. I do not want to hear the reed. I want to hear tone. What people don't realize is that it takes a certain amount of energy to get in a certain type of tone, because lower frequencies require more energy than higher frequencies. So if you want your instrument to resonate, there has to be more energy put into the instrument in order for it to resonate. I've heard people play these really beautiful instruments, but all I hear is the reed. And you don't hear the instrument. You don't hear the cocobolo or the rosewood or the violet wood. You just hear the reed. And that's not what this is about. Alright, so let's see what this is like. I think it's better. And remember, this is a different shape. A lot bigger. I used to use it a lot. Beautiful shape. It's got a lot of tone, this shape. I really like it. But for me, it just became too unreliable. I couldn't depend on it. But it was a combination of things. I think with my gouge, it's really nice. Works very well. And you can play German music with it. This is a thing that people also overlook, is that in America, we play all kinds of music here. But in other European countries, it's not the same. Like in France, they don't play German music. I don't know if you realize that. And Germans don't really play much French music. I mean, they can play other music. France especially, they do not play German music. And the thing is, we play a lot of German music in this country. And it requires a certain type of reed, a certain kind of sound. This is a real nice sounding reed. A little flat. I'm going to clip it. Just to make it a little lighter. Finally, I'll do this thing in the corners. We'll give it a little more response. Maybe a little more liquid. Let's see what that sounds like. That is a nice sounding reed. It plays well. Good piece of wood too. So there you have it. Two very different gouges, very different shapes, but you can still get the same qualities of the sound in the reed if you just take those simple steps. Remember though, I make these reeds over the course of days, not in one sitting, and that's something you need to try to do it yourself, is to make reeds over the course of several days, and this will ensure the reed doesn't change as much, remain more stable. So I think if you apply some of those tactics, it might work for you. Good luck with that.